leave. Exes and the O's, they haunt me like ghosts. They want me to make them they won't.
Hey guys, JJ with you. We're ready for another video, and we have two special guests with us to represent the two key components we need to being healthy. Do you guys remember what those are? Hopefully by now. We have being fit and getting our exercise in, represented by Mrs. Baldoff, and our nutrition, represented by Mrs. Gamble. So those two things have to go hand in hand, just like our media resources teachers have to go hand in hand, as do those key components. That's it. Thank you, ladies. We appreciate the help. Have a great day. All right, we are going to jump right in and talk about whole grains today. You guys are probably going to learn more about whole grains than you ever thought you would in your entire life, but there is a reason for that. So if you remember, grains is one of our 5 fabulous food groups. It is represented by the orange category up here. And can you guys holler out some of the grains that you can think of that we eat throughout a day that would go on my plate? Can you holler out some of them? Breads, pancakes, crackers, muffins, rice, those would be all considered our grains, right? Well, grains are actually plants that give us lots of vitamins, nutrients, and minerals that our body needs. Grains have 3 layers, and I hope we can kind of zoom in on this, kind of like an egg. Grains are a plant, like I said, and this is a picture of an actual piece of grain. I know it seems kind of silly, but I wanted you guys to get the effect. So the grain here, it has 3 layers, an outer, a middle, and an inner layer. And what gives a whole grain? You hear us talk a lot about getting half of our foods from a whole grain. It is the grain represented by all 3 layers. So what's called a refined grain is when they don't use all 3 of the layers of a grain, but a whole grain uses all 3 of the layers, and it gives us this outer layer which has the most fiber in it for our body, and it's called bran. So that's why it's very important that we get at least half of our daily intake from whole grains, because it's going to give you that bran and fiber. What does fiber do? Fiber helps keep our body healthy. It helps our stomachs feel full, which being full is actually a sign that our body doesn't need any more food. So that's a good component to have. Fiber helps give our stomachs that full feeling. It helps remove the junk and the waste that our bodies don't need. That's another job of fiber. So we need a lot of that to help our bodies keep the nutrients it needs and get rid of those that it doesn't. So those are some of the reasons why fiber is very, very important in our body. So when you first think of grains, a lot of times people just think of wheat. Well, there are actually a variety of grains, and you want the variety of grains. There's rice, corn, rye, barley. Those are all different types of grains as well. And the wheat, though, is what's probably most common because it's actually broken down, it's milled down into flour, and then the flour is what's used to produce the foods that we eat typically in our grain categories, our breads and things like that. So when we're shopping for those foods, we had talked about this before, but we want to look for that whole grain label wherever possible, and that will show that it's a whole grain. And like I said, you want to get at least half of the grains that you eat throughout the day from those whole grains. And why is that? Because it gives our bodies and our hearts the healthiest, be the healthiest they can be. It helps our bellies feel full. It helps our bodies get rid of the waste. So shoot for half of your grains in whole grains.